Hey, good afternoon. This is Brian from Alpine Athlete on Twitter and on YouTube. Today we're talking about the pinch-pull speech that we like to give to patients to help keep them going with their recovery. We know that in an ideal world, when we are stretching or when we're trying to do mobility work, we are trying to elongate a joint, we get a nice pull, we try and teach the patient that what we're sourcing is a muscular end field where we're getting a little bit of stretch. It's important to really keep the patient accountable to doing a longer duration stretch and have them build into a progression that really can be maybe 90 seconds, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, instead of doing kind of really short stretches where they say they're doing it for 20 seconds, but they're really doing it for about 5, and we're just kind of being counterproductive because we're not really sourcing the outcomes here. We're just we're just going through the motions. So one of the things that always seems to stop patients is sometimes they don't get a nice pull. Sometimes they don't get that nice elongated stretch that gives them that proprioceptively rich kind of feedback that they're elongating the tissues and that they're getting some progress. And sometimes they get a pinch. And one of the dangers of the pinch is, first, everybody likes to stop when they get a pinch. They don't want to continue. The other danger is that when someone gets a pinch, generally the first thing they do, since we're so enlightened with mobility and with self-treatment techniques, is they want to take a golf ball and they want to put it on top of that tissue and they want to work it out. We see this happen a lot in the knee, where somebody gets a pinch in the back of the knee and the first thing they want to do is they want to try and do like a stick mobilization or a golf ball or a tennis ball, sometimes even a lacrosse ball mobilization to that area, and they really want to whale away on the hamstrings or the posterior capsule of the knee. In a perfect world, we would have good tissue balance around the entirety of the joint, and it would move fluidly so that we get good perfusion and we get continued access to motion that is self-perpetuating. I like to use the TheraBand example with the knee and say that we don't always get that. Sometimes what we get is like various colors of TheraBand. So, depending on where your tissues are restricted or where they're tight, they can look like red, green, and black TheraBand wrapping around the knee. And they may not present the same way on every day. You may have to modify it based on what your presentations are. So if you're walking down the stairs and you get a pinch in the back of your knee, the right thing to do is not to start thinking about wailing away on the hamstrings or the posterior capsule with a stick or a mobility tool. It is to go to the opposite side of the knee, start looking at what tissues might be restricting on the contralateral side that might be leading to that pinch, and start with some gentle soft tissue work into the quad rather than the back of the posterior capsule. The other thing that we can also do is to encourage people that if they're stretching and they feel that they're getting too much of a pinch with the single plane stretching, and folks are really literal because most of our home exercise programming tends to be one plane or very simplistic. What we can do is we can encourage them to start to go off axis a little bit, focus on getting some rotation into the joint. Maybe we need to do some self-mobilization, push the one side of the joint forward, pull the other side back, induce a little bit of rotation in there, and then also kind of begin to explore the textures of the tissue that's surrounding the joint. If we do that, we can kind of selectively work where it's tight, access more range where it's loose, and build on motion that is self-perpetuating. So we want people to engage in activity, feel good about that activity, and then want to go back to it. So it's important that we educate folks that while we always want to seek a nice elongation that hopefully produces a pulling response or a muscular end feel, if we do get a pinch, we don't want to start wailing away on it. We want to go to the opposite side of the joint, start there first, and then consider going off axis so that we can continue with the perfusion of the joint and make it nice and healthy. So a pull is definitely a green light. A pinch is not a red light, it's a yellow. It's a find an off-axis solution, or it is to go to the contralateral side of the joint and then start there first. Thanks for listening. I hope this makes it a little bit clearer, and good luck with everyone's patience. Have a great day.